All right, good afternoon. So this is going to be a video to tell you a little bit about the final for Memento Mori. Remember, Memento Mori, the final can be done as a combination of colored pencil and marker, or as marker only, or as pencil only, okay? So you have some options. Now, paper also, this is some 60-pound paper here, 60-pound paper here. Here I've used a textured pastel paper, which is a little bit more unusual to work on because it has a rough surface. And this final, which wasn't intended to be a final, but it's kind of becoming that way, was just on a regular piece of concept paper. So regardless of what paper you choose to use, just make sure the craftsmanship, the technical skill, the detailing, the elaboration, the development of your ideas is carefully done, whatever, okay? Don't rush your work. It's easy to see that you rush, and also easy to see that you don't care when you rush, so maybe not your best choice ever to rush your work, okay? Checking a box isn't necessarily the best thing. Do a good job, maybe that's the better thing. So here I'm working on this one, on this textured paper. You can see I have my colored pencil by my side. I have an eraser here. I see some planning lines that I need to get rid of. Those pencil lines don't really need to be there anymore. I could be lazy and not erase them, but they may be caught up under some other colors, and maybe that's just not the best looking thing to be doing. So I'm going to get rid of those right away so that I don't get stuck with those lines later on. Now I have done some marker work here. I don't think I've used any of my heavy marker here. I've used some fine line, ultra fine line marker and fine line marker. And it could be that you can do a little bit of marker work at first and see if you like it, and then go back as you're working with pencil, alternate back and forth and do yet more marker. So I'm looking at some features here like this jaw, and it could be that I want to make that bolder and more noticeable. And I'm going to come in along this line here and strengthen that and strengthen that and strengthen that. Okay, so that really helps to make that portion of the jaw stand out. I'm not sure, this is a pretty carefully drawn and shaded area. It looks like there's a boat coming from the distance, a sailboat with the setting sun and some water. So I'm not sure the heavy line right over here is going to make, is not going to be a good addition, but I might switch to a lighter line right here, just in case I want to have a little bit more line work and to reinforce it without going too heavy. Okay, so there I did a little reinforcing with that medium weight line. Medium weight next to lighter ultra fine with heavier in there and kind of balanced throughout is probably your best bet. Don't just use it in one area, use it in more than one area. Just be considerate, just be careful what area you use this. Now I can turn this on its side and go this way on the side. That's a pretty heavy line, but I'm going to use it there, those horizontal lines going that way. And I might bring this into the inside edge a little bit, do that there. And it could be down here. Now I have these numbers, and I might want to drop a shadow off to their side. So I'm going to drop a shadow there, drop a shadow there, there. Yeah, I think we'll just leave that alone right there. Okay, what do you think? Should I put one on the top there? Let's try it. We're stuck with it if I don't like it. Yeah, it's okay, I like that. Maybe I should have done the same thing here. Let's do this. Okay, the same thing there. So that one choice that I made actually helped to improve the look of those things by making them more 3D. So you can see where you can continue to consider using dark line, permanent marker line, whenever, and you can do that right on top of your pencil. Now when you're laying your pencil down, you do so lightly and build the surface gradually, okay? So it could be, now this side is pretty finished over here, at least right in this small area. It doesn't mean I'm not going to come back to that area, I might, but this area, because of color, depth of color, and shading, and blending of the colors is much more interesting and much more complete over here than it is over here. So I might move my attention over to this area and kind of balance out my work a little bit on the right side, a little bit on the left side. You can see the teeth are pretty well done. So I'm not yet sure what's going to happen in here. I think I might go ahead and make this yet another sun rising or setting in here, or at least give something of that impression. You can see the roughness of the paper does a really good job wearing down on the tip of the pencil. This could be a reflection on the water. The water can be kind of greenish and bluish. Obviously, when I'm blending colors like the orange on top of the green, the orange on top of the blue, I'm going to get some neutralized colors, which are good blends. They're kind of lovely neutral colors, grays and browns that I get sometimes. And that's not a bad thing to have in your work. It makes for a much more interesting surface. Get that out of there, that does not belong. Let's pick up this yellow over here. Let's add some more intensity, warmth to that one. Let's bring that down into the water. So you can see there is kind of a logic to my planning and a logic to my working. It's just that I don't necessarily have it all planned out in my head when I get started. I just have a general sense of how things might develop. And as I pick up colors, I might alternate between warm and cool colors just to balance out their use throughout the picture. And again, that's not necessarily necessary. It just could be something that I like to do, okay, in terms of handling colors. So one color down on top of another, gradually blending, gradually darkening, getting some areas much darker than others, so you have a sense of shadow going on. I'm going to drop a red on top of this green here, and that's going to make it more of a gray. That's going to drop that into shadow right there. I can pick up my green again so I can balance out the use of those two colors together, get them just like I want them, okay? And so it goes, little bit by little bit. Now, as far as symbolism in here, we have the number, we have sort of the suggestion of a hand of a clock. I still could be adding more. We have the setting or the rising of the suns, the sailing of the ship, a passage of a ship from here to there, from near to far, from present into future, or from past into present. Who knows who or what is on that ship. Over here on the left side, I have these petals falling. They're meant to look like, what do you call this, cherry blossom trees here in Japan. In fact, cherry blossoms in Japan are invested with a lot of symbolism. They're beautiful, they're wonderful, they're very short-lived. The blossoming time is very short-lived, only about 2 weeks. And then they're gone. And of course, the Japanese value that imagery because it's reflecting, again, of the brevity of life and the passage and the cycling of the years, the seasons. And again, together, these objects have a certain symbolic power, not to mention the skull itself, and all these symbols are embedded in the skull. So I'm going to keep on working. Remember, you never do anything quickly around here. You build it slowly. You try to maintain focus. You channel that inner adult of yours and see what quality you can extract and do so in the time that you're given. Okay, so this one's still being developed. This one is finished. You can see that the skull itself really emerges nicely from its background with some good use of colored pencil. There's no marker on this one. This is nothing but marker right here. Maybe a little symbolism in that one. And this one, in fact, is kind of my favorite for its simplicity and its cartoon-like style, and also its incorporation of use of symbolism. The poppy, the hands of the clock, the setting sun, the fleet passage of time right here symbolized by the wing, all of those things symbolic of time's brevity or passage. And now you try.